Hi everyone, Sidharth Kumar here from ReviewMagic, and today we will be reviewing the movie Locke. So Locke is an interesting movie. This is on Netflix, and I was just going through the list of movies, which I wanted to see, and I said, okay, let me just check out this movie. It's under the critically acclaimed section, so I read the description about it. I said, okay, let me just go through it. So today we'll be discussing how the movie was, and how this could have changed. So Locke is starring Tom Hardy, and the director of the movie is Stephen Knight. Now, the plot of the story is that this person, Tom Hardy, whose name is Ivan Locke, and that's why the last name is the Locke movie. He is a construction director, and one night as he's wrapping up his work, he gets a call that a woman that he has had an affair with is going to deliver a baby in London. So then he has to rush to the hospital in London, and that's where most of the story is. He calls a lot of different people during his journey to the hospital, and then eventually then he ends up going to the hospital. But there's a lot that happens during his journey of close to an hour and a half from suburbs to the London metropolitan area. And he talks to people from his office to his kids to his wife. So there's a lot of emotions, feelings, intensity in that hour and a half that happens. He also ends up talking to the woman that's giving birth, and also the doctor at the hospital. So as I said, he's a construction director, and he gets this call, and he has to just go to London. And this is a woman who is not his wife. He had a one night stand with this lady, and she became pregnant, and now she's giving birth to this child. So he has to leave everything and go to be there because the lady doesn't have anyone else. Tom Hardy is the father, so he has to be along with this lady. Now, as he's going through there, one of the dilemmas that Ivan has is that the following day is a big board day. So it's a one event where all the representatives of the company, including the CEO of the company, who was based in Chicago, he has to come down, and it's a big moment for his career, his job, and a lot of people who are working uh, to get that construction setup completed. Now, because he's going to go to London, he starts calling people, and he starts telling them that he may or may not be there the following day because he's going to go in hospital. And that's where a lot of turmoil begins, because he starts talking to his peers, and he ultimately has to tell that this is a lady who's not his wife, and he may not be able to there. He's trying to get a hold of additional resources because he wants to make sure that the job is successful, even if he's not there. So I think that was one good thing, that he's trying to have that balance between his family and professional life. But what ends up happening is, because no one has the kind of expertise that Ivan has, then he becomes irate, he becomes angry. He's also threatening some of his own colleagues. He's telling them to go to the site, work with Albanians, Hungarians, and fix any issues that come. And apparently, an issue does come, and his friend ends up talking to the CEO of the company, and Ivan gets fired while he's driving all the way to the hospital. He's driving this Beamer SUV, and then he starts talking as if his father is sitting behind. And there's this flashback where his father did the same thing too. He left his mother too, and then he also had another affair. So he's kind of murmuring that and trying to have a conversation with that. Like, he's angry that this happened. He left Ivan, and now the same thing is happening with him. So kind of the same story now repeating. So Eventually, he does reach London. They show that this guy is all going to be there. He's frustrated. He's angry. He's tired. He's spoken to a bunch of people. He's trying to get things done in order. And it's in one moment life. Ivan has lost his house. He's lost his family. He's lost his job. So he's gone from here to here in no time. So it's a difficult movie to create, especially when all you're doing is you're focusing from a cinematography perspective, you're focusing always on trying to show the emotions of Tom Hardy. So I think that was a good job that was done. Overall, the story is flowing well, but it gets too much centered around the life of Ivan, and he's talking to so many different people. This is Ivan Locke movie, but there are no pattern interruptions. So after a while, you get kind of bored because all you do is you look into his dashboard. There is focus on his zoom on his car. There is no even his father is there's no flashback like he can. There is a his father in the background. His wife is not shown physically. So there's no one but Ivan. I think the only person in this movie is Tom Hardy. So I think maybe this was a low budget movie. He just signed up and he's doing it, and that's fine. I mean, as he's portraying the lead here. But I felt the movie gets monotonous because you're only looking at Tom Hardy all the time from start to end, and you're seeing his emotions from being okay to angry to calming down. It kind of gets that in the same phase. And I think that the story. I think maybe he could have. It's hard to from the screenplay. It's hard to see why did he get in touch all of a sudden with his father? How did that come into picture all of a sudden? And this girl who's got pregnant, all of a sudden she just gives a call that I'm here, just come. So nothing was planned. He just gets this random call and he has to leave, and he called his wife. Maybe he could have done this later on after things were done. Maybe he could have gone. Maybe he could have gone the following day after the pour of the construction site was complete. So it's a bit tricky. Like, how did he make those decisions that he had to just simply go and in one instant he loses his job, his career, his family. So I feel that the screenplay is not. They were things. For example, they also talk about Albanians and Hungarians. So there is this reference to Eastern Europeans that are, that can offer cheap labor. And he doesn't mention their names, but he just picks on their nationalities so that they can come and they can do cheap labor. So I thought that was something that was weak in the screenplay. It could have been more subtle, and parts of these new people coming in out of nowhere, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that overall was my review and feedback on Locke. It's available on Netflix, and you can get to know, I mean, how the story unfolds. When you take a look here, I personally would not recommend this movie because it's only good for those people who are diehard fans for Tom Hardy. They want to see him and from start to the end. But as a movie goer, when I go, I want to see different pattern interruptions. I want to see a collection of people around. I want to see some good conversation, thoughtful messaging. But it's quite random in Locke. All of a sudden he leaves. All of a sudden he's calling all these people. All of a sudden he gets fired. All of a sudden he's making decisions very quickly without consulting someone. And I applaud him that he's looking out for the family, this kid that's coming up. But he's got another big picture here. That's his own family, his actual family, his career, and things like that. So this is something, it's up to you if you want to see it, but my recommendation would be not to watch it. You can skip it. And so yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. And if you liked it, you can like the video, you can subscribe it, and stay tuned for more reviews. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.